Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. Today I want to talk about the state of play that's happening today, September 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and some leaks and some rumors about the showcase that have already come out. So I just want to talk about some of the things because most state of plays for Sony have not been stellar. They're not really that great. They sometimes will announce a couple really good titles, usually with a bunch of other stuff that you don't care about. Typically, they give way more time on VR than you ever would want because no one owns a PlayStation VR in the first place. I think the first one was much more successful than the second one. This one's way too expensive. So we're likely going to get a lot of stuff that no one is going to want to buy. And one of the first things that I saw in these leaks and rumors for today is that they're going to be remastering Horizon Zero Dawn, which is an absolute waste of time, in my opinion. The PlayStation 4 version, if you have the disc, or you have the digital version, and you play it on your PlayStation 5, it looks and plays great. It runs really, really well. I mean, I guess you could take advantage of the solid state drive, like make it a little bit better. But honestly, I don't see the point of remastering this game. It's so recent. Why don't we remaster some older games from the PlayStation 3 era or the PlayStation 2 even? It really baffles me that they're doing this. Along with apparently a Days Gone remaster, which I think is more intriguing to me. Again, this is one that you could just be playing the PS4 version. But because this game actually did very well, it sold like 4 or 5 million copies, which is quite a lot for a first-party exclusive. But this one was deemed more of a failure than a success by Sony themselves, which is why we never got a sequel. The game is very underrated. It's kind of boring. It's slow to start at first. But once you get rolling with the game, it becomes a much better experience, which is something that is not the best praise ever, because if you need to spend 10 hours to start getting enjoyment out of a game, then you just wasted 10 hours of your time, and now hopefully you'll get them back. So I think that's a bit of an argument there, but it is an intriguing game because there are a lot of people that really love this game. And so maybe people that, since it's gotten some more buzz over time, it's become kind of a cult classic, as it were. It might be a good one to remaster, especially if they're thinking about a sequel. So the people that originally played the game, that loved the original, maybe have a chance for the sequel. Maybe a lot of people that missed out on the original now have a chance to do it. I do think that's fine. But again, these are two remasters from the PlayStation 4 era that we just don't need. You know, one we do need from the PlayStation 4 era, though? Bloodborne. And that one is mentioned nowhere in leaks or in rumors or anything like that because Sony just sits on Bloodborne. I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't know why they haven't done anything to remake it. I know they hold the rights to it. They could have Bluepoint remake it just like they did with Demon's Souls. I'm not really sure what's going on there. That's one of the few games from the previous generation that could really benefit from a remaster because we could upscale the graphics, of course, but have a better frame rate for the PlayStation 5, the loading screens and everything. You know, we could have a really phenomenal Bloodborne experience on the PlayStation 5. It's one of the few times I would say this is an absolutely necessary remaster of a game within the last 10 years. Like I said, why don't we get PlayStation 3 remasters? Why don't we get PlayStation 2 remasters? Why don't we get some revisiting these old franchises? But no, it just looks like Sony is content to just be sitting out this entire year with releases. It's especially baffling, though, since they're launching the PlayStation 5 Pro. There's no killer apps for it so far. We don't see anything that warrants this upgrade here. Nothing is taking advantage of the PlayStation 5 as it is. So it's just frustrating to see that Sony is just taking a back seat. They're just coasting. I think it makes total sense from them from a business perspective. They know people will still buy the PlayStation 5 Pro. They know people want the upgraded visuals, the better frame rates, and whatever. And they know people will fork out money for it. If they can just get even a small chunk of people to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 Pro, or get people that come from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 Pro, then they've already won. They know that they don't have much competition in terms with Microsoft because Xbox isn't really doing a whole lot right now. They do have some games slated, but the console has failed to sell nearly as much as the PlayStation 5. So I don't think they see them as a direct competitor at the moment. And they don't see Nintendo as a direct competitor because the Switch is doing its own thing. The Switch 2 hasn't been announced yet. It's probably not going to release until early next year. So they think, let's just keep coasting. People are just going to keep buying our stuff, and we'll just go until people start getting mad, and then we'll maybe release some other stuff. Or it means they're cooking a lot of things and they just haven't had time to reveal them yet. I am very skeptical about this state of play. I don't think anything is great is going to be coming out of it. I think a couple things they could do to really show some goodwill and some some kind of faith back in their product would be to show something like the Bloodborne remaster, or show off some new killer first-party game or third-party game that would benefit a lot from a PlayStation 5 Pro. That's what I think they have to do at this state of play if they want to get any goodwill back, because right now, Sony looks like the worst publisher out there right now. Microsoft has some stuff stewing, like I said. They maybe don't have as many console sales, but they have lots of great games in development. They've showed that their most recent showcase. They showed off many big games coming in the future, with a new Doom game, a new Gears of War game, and several others that really spark a lot of interest for the fan base. Sony has not done that. We don't have anything to speak of. We don't have any new Uncharted experiences. We don't have new The Last of Us. Both Naughty Dog titles, funny enough. We're not reviving any of these old franchises like Xbox is doing with Gears of War. We're not seeing any more Jak and Daxter. We're not seeing any more Sly Cooper. It's just weird. I don't understand what they're doing. Again, probably just coasting. But as soon as Nintendo announces the Switch 2 and shows off a bunch of killer apps, I think it'll make Sony start to sweat. And I think they're waiting for that moment to then come out and say, oh, but look at all of our games. That's what I'm thinking is going to be happening here. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the state of play. If you watch this after the state of play, let me know your reaction to it. I would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.